This segment that we have right now is the basically the Q&A session. And I know after yesterday, there's probably a lot of questions that you have, and I would like to address many of them right in the morning, so that we know, where we stand logistically and with the software and what's going to come this year. And so we're going to go over this, and then we will also have still some time probably for some general Q&A, whether this is design related or anything that you have on your mind. So starting out with inLab Software 15. This is the main reason why we are all here. Yesterday over lunch I was asked, so why is it called inLab 15? Did I miss some versions here, or what's going on? And it's actually a pretty simple explanation. As you probably all know and probably have experienced, we just have, on the doctors and on the laboratory side, so many software versions that are all similar, and it is just getting so confusing with different service packs to always understand, where are we? Am I on the right version? Or where do I need to upgrade to? And so we decided that going forward on the laboratory side, Sirona will call the software versions by the year. So inLab Software 15 stands basically for the software that we are releasing in the year 2015. As we get a first service pack, this will then be called inLab 15.1.2. And on the clinical side, we will continue to stay with the currently with the 4.4 nomination, and then as new major releases are coming out, there will be 5. And so on. So on the laboratory side, the software will now always be called by the year. This also makes it easier for you because okay, if I'm on 15 and it's already 2016, you probably should upgrade. While if you are on, if it's 2016 and you are on 3.8, you might not necessarily know that 3.8 is outdated. And you wouldn't believe, we have a lot of people who are on older software, often simply for the reason because they weren't aware that there's basically an upgrade. Despite our efforts to communicate this, and despite our efforts that the software updates and upgrades have always been free of charge, right? And still there's just some people who didn't know it. So we are hoping that by calling it by the year, everybody will quicker upgrade as new software is being released. So the inLab Software 15 is currently still in beta testing. It will be released in August. It was important for us that you see now what inLab Software 15 can do, because there is probably always planning involved. In every organization there is planning. And I know several of you are looking at indications, your doctors are requesting indications, and you're wondering, if I can't do it with inLab, how do I provide it to my doctors? And so we want to make sure that you know what inLab Software 15 has to offer, so that you are not getting into any other software options that cost you, and that cost you time, money, and probably learning curve. So this is why it was important for us that you already now see firsthand what inLab Software 15 can do. We also showed it at IDS in Cologne in March, but it will be released to the market in August. How are we going to release the software? The software is going to be separated into two major parts. We have the CAD and we have the CAM version. You've also attended probably breakout sessions here, one that was dedicated to the CAD portion and one that was dedicated to the CAM version. With the CAM version, we will not need any dongles anymore. So anybody who has an inLab 15 software on his computer can load the CAM version on his CAM computer and you can mill with that. Everybody who has an AK Unlimited today gets basically converted directly over to that new software. There's no additional fees involved. And if you had one dongle today, then you've been upgraded. If you need additional, let's say, chem versions, you can buy these. They will be at $95 a seat available. If you need additional CAD versions, you can buy these. They will be available at $95. So you can have pretty much as many as you want to. If you are not on an AK Unlimited, but on the AK 100s, then there will be a fee that will be, it will be less than we currently sell the AK Unlimited for. We are currently selling the AK Unlimited for, I think it's around about $10,000. If you're looking at the software package and let's say pull up a 3-shape price list, then and then you add up the different modules that are in there, then you would easily get into the $8,000 range. We will not charge $10,000. We will not charge $8,000, but we have not finally determined the price. And a user who is on AK 100s typically spends like $5,000 a year on these dongles, and this is probably the ballpark where we are targeting for those users that are not on an AK Unlimited. So this being said, I think things are getting easier for you. They're getting, from a logistical standpoint, easier. We believe that as laboratories are growing into the digital space, they need more seats, and we don't want to limit you with that. So therefore, everybody will relatively easily be upgraded to that inLab software 15. If you need additional seats, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 20, I don't know what your lab size is, then for each seat, you pay an additional $95. When it comes to, and all files basically within the, well, sorry, let me rephrase that. So CAD and CHEM is free of charge, just as it is today. STL or export will continue to be just as today on a license basis. So if you want to go outside of the Sirona world, you will buy we call it going forward, an open all license that will basically consolidate the model license that we currently have and the restoration STL license. It will have a few other STL licenses in there. It will have the 3-shape import-export license in there. So it will be a consolidated license that you can buy and if you need it. If you stay within the Sirona world, or you don't need to buy that. If you have the occasional case where you're saying, it would be nice to have it, you can either send it to Infinident or for processing, or you send it to Infinident for file conversion. So I think there's options for everything. Again, the important thing when you're looking at that STL license that we are offering, typically a laboratory does not need an STL license at each and every seat. If you're looking at 3-shape software, you need to pay, let's say, $2,500 plus for each and every seat. With us, you're paying $95. And a laboratory, if they have 1 seat or if they have 10 seats, they basically, if they need STL, 1 STL license is enough for them. All the miscellaneous items that we have seen during this training course. So let's say the anti-trading parts, the new extra fine burrs or diamonds, all these items, the triple tray scan holders, all these items, they will become available also with a software release. Any questions? I'm sure you have questions. August. Yes.
How much was it for the, if you go outside the Sirona world for the license?
It is currently that cable really gets in my way. It is currently $2,500 a year, for an open restoration, and $2,500 a year for an open model. But we will consolidate all this, and then it will probably be in the range of $3,000.
How's this software going to be released? Do we need to go to Sorona.com to sign up for it and then expect it to come in the mail? Or do we contact our local rep?
We'll let you know at the time. Our goal is that this time we will make this software downloadable as opposed to sending it out by mail. But we still have to test this. But it would be more convenient for everybody. And so in that case, we would just reach out to you once it's ready with a link. You would then basically sign up with your lab details, with your equipment details, and then you will be able to activate the software, download and activate the software. That is our goal, the download. Any more questions?
With the STL import, obviously with Invisalign, Atero, very, very smooth and easy. Are there any scanners currently available that you know their STL will not import into the software?
Say this again, please.
Various scanners have different type of outputs.
Yes, okay.
Is there a scanner that is commercially available at this point that you know that scan file will not import into the
You know, the thing is, for years, the request, the knowledge about openness in the market is very limited. Generally, people who are very far from CAD/CAM, they demand openness because they feel, you know, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my system, but you know, open is good, so therefore I can do whatever I need to do maybe down the road. And so that's why many people are always requesting, I wanna have STL, which is the equivalent to open. As you're looking into STL files and into different file formats, not every STL file is the same. There are differences in quality. By us opening the software, you know, we assign the responsibility to check those files to you. That will then be part of your maybe quality control. Part of that STL request was also, you know, I want to have DI files from other systems. And we believe strongly that this is a great thing for the inLab user because now inLab software will be the only software that can facilitate any DI systems that are out there. Itero, 3Shape, and the CEREC systems. With all the other softwares, you can always just get the open STL files, but you can never get the CEREC files. So inLab will be the only software that will process any DI file. Now, with STL import, you're not getting any patient-specific data, you're not getting the margin. And it's much more helpful if you have also that information, right? So since Itero is currently probably the largest installed user base, we have decided for right now that we will make an XML import, well, it's not even an XML import, that we will make an Itero-specific import for the inLab software in this software release. Our goal is to make this also available for other systems. However, this was the first step.
And that's a free transfer with the Itero?
Well, that has nothing to do, so this just lets you import the files. You still have to have basically your contracts with Itero. And I'm not even sure exactly, you know, what the seeds are. Mike Walsh probably can answer this, but you would still have to buy either their, you know, yesterday he presented 2 models, how you can receive cases from them. That has nothing to do with the inLab software. That is something that you have to basically sign up with them.
When the MCX5 will be able to actually actually mill pre-sintered metal. Like, are we able to do that?
With this software, we have it here in the material portion, and we have it here in the display. With inLab software 15, we are milling cobalt chrome. It's called Increase CC, which stands for cobalt chrome. Some of you remember 2 years ago, Dentsply was trying to launch a cobalt chrome product called Krypton. Unfortunately, Dentsply never really brought this to the US. They never went through FDA. And so at some point, we had to basically take things into our own hands. And now we basically come out with our own Sirona cobalt chrome products that will become available with the software launch. If there are any more questions, we are still here for a little while, then please feel free to either address them directly to me or later when we are before lunch, when we are back in this room. So in this case, I would now hand it over to Jay and probably go into more, design or user Q&A topics. So anything that you want to know from a design standpoint, from a handling standpoint, from a lab standpoint.
How's everybody doing? Good to see you again. Pretty much the floor is open to any questions you have about anything. We have many advocates here, many users here that, everybody's different. They all have a different kind of lab. Any question about software, materials, anything, and if I can't answer it, I'll grab one of the other guys to answer. I have not sintered any chrome cobalt, but I know that if you do, you should have an exhaust for it because it does smell. Like when you sinter zirconia, can't smell anything, but I heard that you should have an exhaust over the top so you don't have to smell that. It's not toxic or anything, but it's not pleasant.
You still have to have the argon as well, right?
Yeah, on the front of the Infire HTC Speed, there's a little hole where you plug in your argon gas. Yep. What burrs will you be using for the chrome cobalt? Yeah, there'll be different burrs. There will be different burrs available, yep.
When you design a large case, you sinter it, you do that support on. What do you recommend for cutting off the bridge?
That's a good question. Does anybody have a particular type of burr or disc that they cut off their sinter support for zirconia? What's that? Purple butterfly disc? That's a great question, Trey.
Yeah, diamond disc or maybe like fine stone.
What type of diamond? Because you're only cutting on the edge of the disc.
Yeah, typically double-sided.
Double-sided. From brass or?
Yeah, whoever, just a thick gauge, not a thin one, thick gauge. They burn out because they don't last too long.
Okay, if you're only using a small part of the disc.
Yeah, I just grab one off my desk and I usually ruin it.
And using Xerac 15.
inLab 15?
inLab 15. What is your favorite feature of the software?
Yes. Yes. In inLab 15, what is my favorite feature? Well, obviously, screw-retained bridges, I'm happy about that, but proposals are better, without a doubt. The anatomy's better. I like how you don't have to double-click on each tooth. You can just hold your cursor over the tooth, and then go straight to number 2, hold your cursor over the tooth, and that tool stays active, so you don't have to keep going back and forth between double-clicking. BioJaw is great. If you're doing 6 to 11, now you don't get these funky, ugly-looking proposals. You can go ahead and set it up and pre-plan the case in the morphology and positioning step, and then get a better proposal. That's probably my favorite. Goran, you have a question? Okay. Yes.
I have maybe a doctor has like a full mouth implant case which was immediately loaded and have already the abutments in place. It's hard for them to ask them, okay, let's remove the abutments and take an implant level impression. Because some of these might be ample abutments. But they're thinking about maybe doing a scan body directly on the multi-unit abutment instead of going into the implant analog abutment directly. Because I understand is patients already have that immediate temporary. They usually is about probably 2 or 3 millimeters below the tissue. So then taking that out, most of the time it's easier for us just to take the impression at the abutment or multi-unit level abutment level. Yeah.
Well, I don't know I think it's baby steps in the software. You always design things that most people use for the majority of issues. So I would say in the beginning, no, you have to take an implant level impression and screw it in to the implant rather than the multi-unit abutment. But again, I haven't got to that point yet, so I'm not sure if we can trick the software, your software, and into that or not, or if they'll have that later. Because then you'd have to let the software know what type of multi-unit abutment it is, and then tell it that you're going to actually take an impression on top of that. I understand your question, but for the beginning, definitely not.
And also, in a lot of cases, we're using all-in-4, we're using like angle implants, and we're going also have some multi-units that are correcting that angulation. With NT trading, still you have no angle abutments. So pretty much all of them are straight.
I think I heard Sean say there was going to be an angled multi-unit abutment. Where's Sean at? So it's a question we can confirm with them outside. I think they're still out there today. Yep. Yeah, so because everything's so new, that question you asked, that's a great question. That they'd probably have better answers than I would, because I haven't tried that.
Of course, everything is so new and everything is so hot. As hot as it is for you, as hot as it is for them. So they will make sure if there's a demand, that they'll address this demand with whatever angulation you guys need. There's a market for them. If there's a market for them, they'll address it.
Yeah, I agree.
I see there's a lot of improvement in the CAM software. Is it any changes in the CAD software?
The CAD or the CAM? The milling or the design? The milling part, now you can use the extra fine burrs for the Emacs, so the anatomy does look a little bit nicer. We also can use the 25 millimeter disc. Before we could only use the 20, so that was huge. I also noticed that in the 4.3 software, sometimes you have a roundhouse and you're like, why the heck is it tilted in my disc? It should fit, no problem. Now when you import it into the disc, it automatically goes like it should be. So I noticed that a roundhouse that before would only fit in like a 25, now fits in a 20. So I noticed that's been fixed. Burr Life? Are you asking or telling me? Yeah, I feel like Burr Life also is better too. It is faster. Well, with Emacs, it's still not as fast as the MCXL, but it is faster. I have noticed with the inLab 15 software, but it's never going to be 12 minutes. But right? Because there's 2 burrs in the MCXL, but it is faster. Definitely, 100%. Someone back here? John?
For MCXL users, you notice any improvements in the quality of the mill?
Oh, 100%. When you use the extra fine burrs, that's all I use now in my 2 MCXLs, I just mill Emax. And I use the extra fine burrs in there, and 100% you can tell a difference in the overall look and the margins. I mean, 100% difference, even more than the MCX5 change, because the MCX5 was already good.
Talk about burrs. The software that the burrs require the new motors.
For the MCXL, to use the extra fine burrs, do we need the motor upgrade? No. Just have to have all 4 motors. So what you do is you just take out the zirconia burrs off of burr set 1 and put the extra fine burrs in there. And so it uses all 4 burrs to mill the Emax. So it starts off with the bigger ones, and then at the end goes over it with the smaller ones. Jerry, you have a question? Autosave? They want it to save, we want it to save at different steps so that we don't lose our. That's something we'll have to ask Jörg when we find him. So, no.
On a simple, like a cantilever bridge, other than tricking the software, can you do a cantilever bridge with the new software on a implant?
Cantilever bridge off an implant.
Tricky. So, I mean, I make it work, but every now and then I got somebody who wants a cantilever.
Yeah, I don't see why not. We'll try one in the next breakout session and see. Yeah.
I was wanting to have a program, because you can't choose bridge on an implant. You can't choose bridge with an implant.
For screw retained or just regular case? Well, we'll pull one up. I'll pull one up and we'll try it. My brain is fried. I can't remember that right this second. But yeah, we'll pull one up and see if it, and design one. Yes?
On the X5, the new software allows us to change the angle of the Emax. Sometimes the crown will be just a tad too long. You can move it just a tad.
Well, with the new 15, now we have a touch test that happens with the Emax. Before we didn't, it just starts milling. Now it'll actually measure and everything and make sure you have the right block and everything. And if it doesn't fit in the C14 block and they want to flip the block, are the outer block holders available now so we can flip the block? Soon. Yeah, you'll be able, there's different block numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 2 on the outside, and other of the block holes will be available to turn blocks in different directions and put different blocks in. Well, I'll have a video on how to do everything on inLabOnDemand.com. Also, I won't have any more courses at my lab until inLab 15 comes, and everybody that teaches will have their courses available. But it's going to not be till the release because we don't have the software yet. But yeah, everybody will know. And we'll have all the courses listed on all the different social media and inLab.com. Questions? Anything? Yes. Sean, do you have an answer to that?
I said that not being able to scan at the conical or multi-unit level will exclude all of the roundhouses on all-on-4 procedure. The all-on-4 procedure calls for putting multi-unit abutments at the time of surgery. And 4 months later, nobody is going to take them out to take an impression at that implant level.
So, you're talking about scanning and put the patient on, right?
No, I'm talking about scanning from the model. If the model is generated on conical abutments, we cannot scan it. Right? There are no scans for conical abutments.
Scan posts that go on top of the conical abutments. Again, I think that's exactly what he was talking about. You know, I'm new to the all-on-4 thing, so I really don't know. But again, we're going to have a workflow on how to take the impressions and everything by the time that it comes out. And that's a great question, and we'll get with NT Trading Company and ask them, you know, what is their idea on that, on how to take that impression.
And they're actually using that as well on top of
All right, so they'll have a analog, as he said, that they can take the impression with. But again, that's a great question. We'll go out there and ask NT Trading Company about that.
For your pre-sinter zirconia large case, what is your favorite staining technique? Using the zircon sand, aquarelle, or like everybody, or anything? You have some secrets?
No secrets. Just depends on the zirconia. If it's Bruxer shaded 16, you can't use the aquarelles on it, but if it's a Bruxer shaded, they show up better. Katana has a multi-layer disc that's really nice, so it has incisal and dentin in it, so that I know a lot of us here have used that. The only thing I've used pre-sinter is, again, I will never dip anything in my life ever again. It's going to be pre-shaded, and then I'll add, like you said, the Zircon Zahn Aquarelle liquid suit. That's the only thing I've ever used. Does anybody else? Ivoclar? Liquids or paint on? Is it pre-shaded discs, or do you have to? That's Cubex. Is that the brand of the company's name? Oh, through Cap. Okay. Yes.
What do you guys like for pre-shaded blocks?
Pre-shaded blocks? Well, I use Bruxer for my full contour, and Wheelin Light, Wheelin Medium for my frameworks, just depending on the shade from Ivoclar. But full contour, I use Bruxer for everything. What's that, Trey? Yeah, now they have Bruxer anterior, which is more translucent, and pucks. I don't mill blocks anymore.
But do they offer it in blocks?
Bruxer, yeah, Zahn offers Bruxer blocks for the past 3 months, but they, I think, just started delivering like last week. But you only can get the block in, I think, a 2019 or 4019. So, but I think that's through Zahn.
Anybody foreseeing omni-cam scanning technology built into an inLab scanner anytime in the near future?
What's wrong with our scanner?
Well, yeah,
Which part of the?
I mean, it just makes sense that the doctors read over the new technology, and they got a new scanner. So I just can't, I would think that
I hope we don't have another scanner coming.
am I touching on somebody's toes?
Oh no, I'm just saying I hope there's no other scanner coming. I don't want to buy another. There's always going to be a scanner coming.
First of all, ENEOS X5 is the best lab scanner on the market. Secondly, ENEOS X5 is hopefully going to be the last lab scanner Sirona ever produces again. This year? Yeah, because we want
This year.
doctors to scan. We want to get scans digitally from the doctors. So our efforts are to get the doctors to scan, to get the eye units into dental offices so that you don't have to scan anymore.